Before we start the video, I would like to say thank you for getting me to 770 subscribers. I never thought I'd actually get this far, but thank you. I mean it, from the bottom of my heart. Now then, let's start this mega custom video. I should also give credit to Roll Along Thomas for the background music. First up, Judith the Barclay engine. Judith the J50 is no more. Mainly because I was becoming dissatisfied with the J50 look for Judith, and I decided to redo him in a based on the Barclay 060-1245 tank engine. His face he still has the duck face, made of the front half of a Trackmaster James and the back half of a Trackmaster Percy. And I think he looks pretty good, actually. I feel more satisfied with how he looks here than the J50 design. Next up, Stafford from Wooden Railway. Except I've modified him to have a Trackmaster rear coupling and no magnets. So he's more compatible with Trackmaster rolling stock. I think it's a decent little update, and I'd rather a smaller, thinner Stafford than the wide, chunky Trackmaster one. Overall, Stafford's basically mainly remained the same, but no magnets and a Trackmaster rear coupling added. So I guess that's cool. You may remember from my summer customs, there was Philip, but more accurate in size. I have since had to change Philip to have a wooden railway chassis due to the Trackmaster wheels just not really working all that well. Not to mention how easy they caved in, so I've decided to replace his chassis for a spare wooden railway ladies. I think it was a decent improvement. He still works as fine as he has before, and just genuinely, I think Philip looks more size accurate than the very long and kind of ugly Trackmaster 2 one, even if his face was cannibalized from a Trackmaster Philip. Next up, Logan, made of a Trackmaster Raoul. I wanted to make Logan because I could make something cool with him. He's a pretty happy looking chap, with all this blue and white and yellow detailing, mainly based on my own little ideas for him, and I plan to use him in my series as a former member of the National Coal Board. But you'll see more of that soon. Next up, my updated Timothy. I've done up his paint again, so he's just a little neater. I've also redone his face. He doesn't really have any teeth here, but he does have teeth, but less wrinkly and creepy looking. His whistle's been redone in gold for a cooler effect, and yeah, that's Timothy. Next up, Billy. You may wonder, why did I bother making a Billy if there was already a Trackmaster Billy that existed? Mainly because I just did not like how big and weird it looked when you'd pair it up to his sibling, that being Charlie. So I decided to get a spare Charlie off eBay and repaint him up in Billy's colours, and the face comes from a wooden railway Billy. It's kind of cute on him, actually. I'm really growing to how he looks now. I've also had to chip off the headlamp. Overall, and Billy, despite having some corroded battery terminals, still works. And here is Scruff the Scruncher. No, I'm not going to bother asking what a scruncher even is, Besides, I mainly got such an idea from the freaking Character Gallery series, which is really peak. Scruff is essentially a wooden railway scruff, and weirdly, his only variant in wooden railway, Dirty Scruff. Much like Stafford, his wooden railway magnets were removed and replaced with a rear coupling from Trackmaster. He has his whistle and front windows. I think it's pretty neat. And yeah. Next up, Porter. He was basically a Trackmaster Porter that I've given a couple of paint applications for. Mainly his lamp, cylinders, rear lamp, and buffers. Porter is like the last Trackmaster before the 2014 redo, and what a model they made to end off the old Trackmaster time. He's really neat. I like Porter. A really nothing character, but cool toy, I guess. Next up, Flora by Wooden Railway, with her tram coach. I think she's a pretty neat looking Wooden Railway model. I've put a Lego 1x1 stud to represent a funnel. And I don't really plan to give her Trackmaster coupling since she's going to be a very minor character. But yeah. Her tram coach is essentially a big wooden block, but a very very detailed wooden block. When I make my series, you'll see what will become of Flora. I'll just say she doesn't work in Grey Waterton. But that's all I'll say for now. Right, holy moly. Next up, Diesel. Yeah, it's a TOMY Diesel, but repainted to better resemble how he looks in the Trackmaster range, being matte black and having painted eyes and painted side rods. The detail I've actually given him is on his cab. You actually see a visible air horn, which is something that was on the Train Sim 5 model for him, which is really cool. I don't know why he never had a physical air horn, or any Diesel for that matter, minus Salty. I think made this, but whatever. Next up, the City of Truro. Yes, that City of Truro. The Grey Western engine, made of a Trackmaster 1 Edward. His face is kind of okay. He's a pretty chill guy. I used cardboard to add the side paneling. I given him Trackmaster side rods, filled up, tried to modify him enough to make him better resemble how he looks, with a safety valve rather than a dome and a square firebox. I redid his tender by flipping it backwards to make the back end stick out more, like on the real engine. Printed out his number plates, added cardboard on his front wheels to cover them up, and did tack for the face. I'm not quite sure why the show never gave him a face. Probably because he was going to be a one-time only, and they'd see no honest use in making a face for a one-time only. Next up, Splatter and Dodge It by TOMY. You may be wondering, why did I get a TOMY Splatter and Dodge if I already had the Brio ones that I used in the Magic Railroad rewrite from last year? Let's just say, I'm not really satisfied with how they were. And now I decided to just bite the bullet and just get the TOMY ones, which look really good. I love the glossy look they have. It makes them... I like how it makes them more distinctive than just making them matte. The faces are also really accurate. Something else I've also noticed is that Splatter has hints of purple on his top paneling, but Dodge doesn't have any similar detailing. I'm not sure why they did this, and it's not really inaccurate since they have this in the movie as well, for what I'm assuming, which is kind of weird, but oh well. Next up are Ari and Bert, but they're bootleg Trackmasters. You may wonder why they are bootlegs, because their official TOMY models are way too expensive. When I got them, Ari's face had a yellow hint, was given a weird yellow tint. I repainted it, thankfully, and it just means his face isn't as reflective as Bert's, but the engines having really reflective faces don't really make them look more faked and just added on. I plan to give Ari and Bert their own nameplates at some point to fit on their fuel canisters, so they're a little more distinctive. But that'll be for another time. Next up, Derek. Made from a Trackmaster chassis, I had to fully scratch build his main body, which I think worked out pretty well. I given him fake extra small wheels from Orange and Go diecast models. His face is alright. Not the best face I've made, but could be worse. His body was basically made out of cardboard and tape with hot glue applied to fill up the gaps. And there is enough of a hole so when you press in so you can push the switch and turn it off. I might try to make it a bit bigger, because obviously it's very small, but it's decent enough. I'm so sorry for that stupid noise you heard. Anyway, Derek, it does function, thankfully, and I think he's very neat. Oh wait, spoilers, you can't see that stuff yet. Yeah, whatever. Next up, Sandy the motor car. I have made up a bit of a backstory for Sandy in my series, but you'll see that in due time. Made of a spare orange disco push along Sandy. Her face was made with, like, clay, and her bottom her wheels have been applied by hot glue, which also goes for her inside, to make her inside look more hollow, and so she better runs on Trackmaster track, with minimal issue. Next up, Daisy, but with a new face. I'm not really happy with how her face looks. It could look better, but oh well. Maybe Daisy's kind of nice, I guess. She could be better, but again, she could be much, much worse, and let's just be happy she isn't. Next up is updated Marklin, or Mark as I now call him. His face has been redone, so he looks more chill, and maybe on the outside he looks grumpy, but when you get to know him, he's actually a pretty chill guy. Though he's not the most talkative sort, since he obviously comes from Germany and doesn't know too much English. Next up, Super Ed. What a cool ass custom I made. His face was made with tack and his body's made with cardboard. His face is meant to have hints of blue in his eyes to represent that he was struck by lightning, which also goes for the lightning scar on the side of his face. He's painted dark blue with British Rail crests and ED on his front. The back detail is also pretty nice. What I really love about him is how I've made his chassis so he has a much higher voltage motor, which allows him to go faster, which is really cool. Super Red might be one of my favorite customs, if I'll be honest. Next up, Take Along Fergus. Since the Take Along Fergus can already fit on a Trackmaster track, I decided to just add a Trackmaster coupling on his back. And, yeah. I might try to redo the face, and maybe the funnel. We'll see about that, but this is how Fergus is at the moment, and I do like him. I don't know what I do. His personality is kind of annoying, but whatever. Could be worse. Next up, Neil the not Mid-Sodor. Why did I say Mid-Sodor? Neil the Sodoan mainland engine. Made of a spare semi-truck wooden chassis, and with this main body made of cardboard. His eyes look a little weird. I might try to redo them at some point. His buffers and coupling come from Trackmaster, and I used cardboard tubes and a paper straw to make its funnel and whistle. I think he scales up alright enough for the Trackmaster engine. He might be a bit big, but oh well. Next up is 13. I'm not super satisfied with his face. He just looks a bit too joyful around. His mouth looks weird. He was made from like a spare Trackmaster Thomas with like the splashes removed. And overall, I think he's okay. I don't really plan to use him in my series much. He might just be a one-off character who was like loaned to Sodor, but oh well. Next up was inspired by the Thomas and Friends Character Gallery by Master of the Lemons and Hero of the Japanese Train. Booster, made of 2 Trackmaster tankers that came with the real Steam Thomas and Percy. He looks kind of silly. I love his goofy little smile. He's such a big bulbous nose. I put SWW on his cab to represent Sodor Waterworks, which is kind of cool. His cab's made of clay, and he was given a funnel because why not? And I think Booster's cool, I guess. He doesn't really work, and his chassis could be a bit better, but could be worse as well, I guess. Next up is London Transport Duck. It's a spare body shell of duck I had, and I decided to make it in a London Transport red livery. Mainly for the sake of why not. I think it looks cool. It might be my favorite livery of the Panios. His chassis and face come from the duck I currently use, so they can be swapped around. I added London Transport on his tanks, and I've kept his number 8. I know it's unrealistic, but it's cool. Duck does work. I also like how he has a very slight bobbling effect when he rolls along, which is oddly accurate to his character, which is kind of cool. Next up, Bloomer. Bloomer may be one of my favorites and most ambitious looking ones. You may remember I tried to make a diecast custom out of him, and it didn't really look all that good. So I decided to take a Trackmaster to Emily, give her a taller funnel, cut off her cab, and also added clay for the dome, safety valve, and firebox. His face comes from a golden that I might try to modify with a mustache, or a grey mustache or something. like most fan versions of him. I had to stop. I do like the visual of his motor being exposed, which is kind of cool. His tender also comes from the Emily. I am much more satisfied with how he looks in Trackmaster than the crappy pushable custom I made back in summer. Very bland. Next up is an improvement on Edward. He was given more free-rolling fake wheels, which also look really neat on him. And I've also tried to modify this bit here, so it's less just up in your face. Either way, I think Edward looks really good, and it's just probably the best I'll get him to look, so I can't really complain much. And here is Flynn by Wooden Railway. Honestly, I'm not really much of a fan of how the 2013 Wooden Railway version of him looks. It just doesn't look right. His face is fine, but it was mainly the external details that I wasn't super fond of. Actually, let's just put him here. Now, I do plan to try and change the face a little bit, but that'll be for another time. This Wooden Railway Flynn is the 2011 version, because it just has more physical and much more detailed external details. I should also make something aware that in my AU series, Flynn does not have the capability to run on rails. It is just way too goofy for me, and it just doesn't look right having Flynn, this evidently semi-American fire engine, just drive on rails, which looks... This is the best as I can make it look, and yeah, who wants to see that? I also have an AEU idea to make a custom tanker for Bell, similar to the real wood one that would have released, but of course it was cancelled. But that's for another time. I do think Flynn's fine. I like how you can move his ladder, which kind of cool. You can also make it twist like 360. And I love how the wheels look. But that's basically all the Trackmaster locomotives. But now I got some other customs to show you that are rolling stock related. I guarantee they will be pretty good. First one is the ULP van. His face is one I made myself, with his writing added and roof painted up in grey. I think he's honestly a pretty decent custom. I might try to redo the grey to make it look more even and less rugged. Next up is an OC of mine, Marco the M-Truck. Based on the very obscure M-Truck from like season 2, but given a personality. The face I wanted to make evidently better resemble how the truck's faces looked in season 1, to emphasize that he's an older truck that has thankfully stood the test of time, rather than the grey ones we all know and love, I guess. Next one up is the Spiteful Brake Van. A really, really easy custom. I just made a paper face for him, and just stuck it onto a generic brake van. Nothing too much. I think it's cool, but that looks a little bit weird. Yeah, we are not having that inappropriate looking positioning on them. That is way too inappropriate. Next up are the Trackmaster trucks. I never really liked how long TOMY made their trucks, but I decided as an attempt to make my own. I always preferred how the trucks were very. I've always preferred the shorter trucks at my Trackmaster 2, but never really happy that we got very little amounts of Troublesome trucks, which are like Sodal's bread and butter. Everyone recognizes the Troublesome trucks. They're iconic. So, I decided to take some Trackmaster 2 trucks and paint them up in black and give them faces, which is the same technique as the ULP van. We have this truck who looks a bit angry. This grinding teeth truck. This recognizable heavy face. Looks like he's about to cause some mischief. They got the truck, as I've called him. We have a truck having an existential crisis. Here we have another angry face one, which is small for some reason. And then we have another recognizable one. Granted, it's off-center, but oh well. Could be better, I guess. And next up is the Works Unit Coach. I got this alongside Splatter and Dodge. And it's not really much of a custom, but yeah, something included anyway. I love how TOMY designed this to be double-ended, so you could have engines doing a tug-of-war match with it, which is really cool. Next up is the Scruffy's second-in-command, Fred Pelhay. I'm aware his name is Fred Pelham, but nah, Fred Pelhay has a better ring to it. I think he's really neat. He's just a very cranky old truck. He looks like he's about to cause some island-wide panic. And now my last truck custom, for now, Rickety. Made from that one truck that came with the orange and slow motorized Thomas, which looks really ugly. I have redone the chassis, so when he rolls along, he actually bobbles from side to side. Which is inherent to his name and nature. He looks like a very goofy little truck. Of course, this is just like an average ballast load, but since Rickety is meant to be some form of a ballast truck, I think it works. Next up is my improved Golden Snow Machine. Unlike the dark grey, it looks more accurate to how it looks in Season 5 than anything else. And it does still work on Trackmaster track, thankfully, which I'm grateful for. Definitely better than how it looked before. And here we have just two flatbeds. One is from my childhood, and one came with the Porter I got. Here we have this thing. It's literally a crate with a magnet in it, and you may wonder why, but it's because I have a Trackmaster Rocky, and I love how Trackmaster made him. He looks so good. The best part is that he actually still works. Having a Trackmaster Rocky that still functions is absolutely bonkers. He can put down his load, and then kind of be taken to wherever he has to be taken. I love the moving pistons Rocky has. TOMY absolutely cooked with making him. It is just, he is so good, mate. I love how he is. And for now, that is all my Trackmaster customs. But have no fear, as this is a two-parted video, and next video will be related to customs of diecast engines, most of which come from Orange and Go, but we'll get to that when it happens. Until then, I am that Wild City Train fan. I thank you for all the subscribes, and it's just been so amazing that I'm as popular as I am now. And soon on Real Fan 1's channel, I will be partaking as a voice actor. I won't tell you who I'm going to be, as that's something you'll have to see for yourself. But until then, I'll see you next time. Hey Gordon, I heard you went out with Emily last night. Oh, I certainly did. Mate, I'll be careful. If Thomas finds out, he is going to whoop your tender. What does that little blue twerp think he has on a big engine like me? Did I hear that correctly? Oh dear, here comes trouble. Gordon, you wife-stealing son of a